Hi guys, it's Kara with MysticTwist.com, and I am now on the other side of my road trip. So I've been on the road for about 2 weeks now, and I'm making my journey home back to Washington. I left Colorado, and now I am in South Dakota. I'm actually in the Black Hills National Forest, which is home to Mount Rushmore and the Crazy Horse National Monuments in the United States. So I actually didn't think I would come here because it's a little out of my way actually, but long story short, it felt like an important place to be right now, especially since everything that's going on in the world with BLM and just all sorts of things. And there's been a lot of attention, especially to national monuments from the so-called white man, whom I'm obviously a direct descendant of. But also, since I do live next to a Native American reservation in Washington, the Makah Reservation, the Makah tribe, I thought it would be interesting to check out the Crazy Horse National Monument. And it wasn't quite what I expected, to be honest. Check out some more info on my Instagram where I've posted some more info about it, but yeah, it was actually quite an interesting experience. So I want to bring a mystical twist to your life today through the perspective of self versus other. Now, since I'm in this part of the country where, I mean, pretty much anywhere you'll find in your reality too, probably, that there's a lot of separation. For example, me, myself, and I versus other. And this has obviously been going on for thousands of years in the human collective experience. And we can see it in many ways, whether it's white versus non-white, or west versus east, or, I mean, gosh, take your pick, blue versus red, if we think politics. There's so many divisions of expression in our reality. And that's actually in a lot of ways quite intentional. It's purposefully done. In many ways, the people who rule the planet, or who, you know, have power over other games, they use this as a tactic of divide and conquer. And this has actually been a, you know, tactic for a very long time, I think since the Roman times, where that divide and conquer axiom has been used. I can't quite remember the origin of it though. So, as always, do your own research and look it up. But the reason why this tactic is used so intentionally is because when we are divided, we are not as powerful. And even Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, said, "A house divided cannot stand." So if you take a look around in your life, whether it's politics or maybe your community, your family, your school, your job, whatever it might be, there's probably some examples of self versus other, or games of separation. At a higher perspective, the human collective made a decision to have a game not only of separation, like way, way long ago, before the era of Atlantis even, but more recently, in the past several thousand years, the human collective had an experience chosen to play out a game of power over others. Now, Inelia Benz has talked a lot about this, so check out her website, which I've linked in this description, so you can read more about it there. But for this video, I want to give you a little mystical technique to help heal and bridge this gap of division from separation to us. We, us, and ourselves. Because at some level, we are all part of oneness, literally, because oneness is everything. but also the human collective is actually one. We are one species, we are one body and one mind. We just have this illusion of separation and otherness, when essentially everything in the physical universe is just made of energy and vibration, and that energy vibrates at different frequencies, and that's why we have what we see, feel, touch, and experience every day. It's quite quantum, you know, physics pretty much shows this at a lot of levels, but at a mystical level, what we can do is bridge this gap of separation by simply, one, acknowledging that this game, this illusion of separation exists, and that it's just a game. But next time you do find yourself being sucked into a game of separation, like for example in the United States in 2020, there's an election coming up, tons of separation from red versus blue, left versus right, you know, and then Black Lives Matter, white versus black. There's just so many games out there. So when you do see yourself having your intention being pulled there, just take a moment to really look at it, to just observe. And this is a technique that I've gotten from Inelia Benz, but the exercise of observation, and that's observe with a capital O, or more accurately a 0, to really get quantum about it. But the act of observation is allowing the universe to look through your eyes. To the small ego self, the me, myself, and I, steps out of the way, and you allow the universe to look through your body and to observe. And it's really something that is, it's bigger than the individual self, because it's allowing all beings, creatures, entities, energies to, for a split moment even, or maybe a minute or two, depending on your level of comfort, but to have sentient creatures, beings, entities look through your body and simply observe in a neutral way. No judgment. What's key about this exercise is stepping out of judgment and programs and agendas and allowing that other experience to exist. So one mystical thing that we can do is when we're found in these situations of separation, or if there's a lot of narrative or agenda surrounding it, we can step out of the way and almost like in the most neutral way ever, just look at something and observe it. Just observe it in complete, utter neutrality. And what that does, I don't know really how it works, to be honest. This is why I'm still a mystic in training. But I don't know why, but it just like resolves things. Maybe it just needs attention, or I don't know what it is, but when we observe things in this way, the programs and the complexities and the dramas, they just kind of start to unravel. Maybe it's just because they're not really there and they're just constructs, you know, they're just ideas and importances that we give meaning. But in the higher perspective, especially at a galactic level, you know, a lot of extraterrestrials really don't care about our election. It's just like the most ridiculous thing ever, you know? That's kind of what it comes down to. So there's really this sense of non-judgment that's happening. So I'm about to actually pull into the Mount Rushmore National Monument. I just finished the Crazy Horse National Monument, and I did an active observation when looking at the educational video that they had there in the museum, and it felt really important to observe just because of many reasons. But you know, it's just complicated. Like, these museums are still put together by white people, the monuments being made by white people. It wouldn't even be needed if it wasn't for white people. But at the same time, you know, from what I learned at the video anyways, Standing Bear, the chief of one of the tribes out here, you know, essentially said, yes, we want the white man to build this monument so that we can remember our people and all these things. So there's just like so many layers of history and atrocity and complexity and drama and power over others, and there's just so many levels of complexity and atrocities and history that in a world of separation, it's very easy to go, oh, look, this is right, this is wrong. But at a higher level, we're all just having an experience on this planet. But at a higher level, we're all just having an experience on this planet. And it's just a game. And we just add a lot of importances to the game. So, just as a recap, the mystical twist for today is next time you find yourself in a situation, observe it. And just recognize that there's a game of separation happening, and you will be amazed at what that will do, what that will start to resolve in your life. So all you have to do is look at it. It really doesn't take a lot of, you know, effort, time, or energy. It's just, you know, look at it. And look, I don't know if you can see it. There it is. So we'll be observing that. For tips, tricks on how to add a mystical twist to your life, check out my website, see me on Instagram, and there's a lot more info that I'm sharing out in my newsletter, so check it out at mystictwist.com. Thanks, guys. Bye!